Hey guys, in today's video, you can learn to generate and enable cookies for React and Node.js. Let's first understand what cookie is. A cookie is basically a small piece of data sent by a server on the client or browser in order to identify and track the user. Now I will also explain you how it works for client and server. So initially the client sends an HTTP request to the server. For the first request, there will be no cookies attached. After processing the request, the server then generates a cookie. The generated cookie can be used in either the session-based or token-based approach. For session-based, the server generates a session ID after successfully authenticating the user. The session ID is stored on the server along with the user's session data. Then the server sends the session ID back to the client in a cookie with the set cookie header. Whereas in token based, the server generates a token after successfully authenticating the user. The token may include user information, expiration date, or digitally signed. The browser stores the token in a cookie with the set cookie header. And in the next step, the client sends an HTTP request with the cookie. In session-based authentication, the server validates the session by checking the session ID in the cookie against the session store. Whereas for token-based, the server verifies the token's validity, that is checking its signature and expiration. Finally, the server processes the request and sends an appropriate response. So that's all for the cookies flow. We can now proceed on the project. I had built this authentication part of login using React and Node.js. In the Node.js backend controller, we can see we have generated token after the user password matches, and token is signed using the secret key. This approach is token based authentication. After we generated token with secret key, we can proceed to cookies part. Now to generate a cookie, it would be response.cookie and we can name it to JWT. Then we can just include the token here. For the options, I can include HTTP only to true. This is for the security. So this part helps to store a JSON web token as a cookie on the client's browser. And in our client side for this login page, we have called the login controller using Axios post request. So I'll show you by entering the signed up user data. We can inspect it. We are logged in for this user. To view the cookie in browser, proceed to the application tab. And inside the cookies, you can see we don't have any cookies data. So it means that our cookie is not stored in the browser, even though we have set it in our backend controller. It's because when working with cross-origin request, cookies are not included in the request by default. So the browsers block cookies from being sent or received with the cross-origin request. To overcome it, on this post request of Axios, we should include with credentials to true. Enabling with credentials in Axios explicitly tells the browser to include credentials such as cookies in the request. Then in our backend index.js, we should enable credential in this course part also. So that's all for the request. First, let me again go to sign in page and I will re-enter the credentials. And now in the cookies, you can see the name JWT with the cookie value. So this value helps in authentication of the user. So it's simply a JSON web token consisting of header, payload and signature. So that's how we can access it. In this video, we successfully generated and enabled cookies in Axios Request for React and Node.js. Thank you guys for watching this video.